Yeah, I guess so. Wow. I never thought of this happening. How are you feeling? So, what now?
You're the last Dragonborn, the rightful heir to the throne. Blackwell said it himself. I need you now more than ever. Please, don't leave me here alone. Please take me home, Dragonborn. Let's have Blackwell look after things here. If he needs us, he can send for us.
Majesty, my lady.
Here he is. Ask him. Ask him about what happens next.
Well, there will be a small interim phase, so correspondence can be sent to those that need to be informed, such as dignitaries and the royal houses of Tamriel. They shall be invited to the coronation, which, in this case, I suggest be arranged at the same time, as Rigmor is now the High Queen of Cyrodiil. But first, we need to protect the integrity of our queen, so first I suggest Rigmor takes up the name of the House of Mede.
Rigmor Mede? Yeah, right.
It might only be a temporary change, but also a necessary one. Majesty, depending on how we go forward from here, I have another suggestion. I suggest you arrange a marriage at the soonest opportunity. You, as the last Dragonborn, are the rightful heir to the throne. As soon as I heard of your accomplishments, I knew it was fact. That not only were you gifted the Thu'um, but also with the ability to absorb the souls of dragons. That you were anointed by Akatosh himself as the rightful heir, before even taking the crown. If you find that arrangement to be impossible for whatever reason, there are alternative ways to proceed. A partnership or friendship ceremony for the child's sake. It would not be binding, and you could both live separate lives, where there is an understanding between you and shared responsibilities, especially if you decide to cede. Or you could cede the crown. Rigmor becomes Empress, and you go back to what you were doing before. Understood. My lady?
The Dragonborn and I shall return to Bruma for the time being and leave you in charge as caretaker. Maybe Titus Mede II will return someday. We will, of course, comply with anything you ask of us.
Of course, my lady. As the former Countess of Bruma, administration will pass to Sigun. Bruma will, by default, become a royal city and imperial place of residence. There is a small matter that needs to be attended to, but that can wait for the time being. I'm sure both of you need time to adjust to the new situation you find yourselves in. The traitors Leowin, Cheydinhal, and Coral have all been dealt with, permanently, and the houses of Coral and Cheydinhal, for the time being, have passed on to their next of kin.
Leowin?
Leowin is in need of a new count. I suggest Cassius Varon. It is imperative we have someone we can trust, implicitly. His naval expertise would suit the county and protect the Niben Bay, especially as the disbanded bandit army has gone to ground in the border regions of Blackmarsh, elsewhere in Valenwood. Of course, Quintus was another option to consider, but with growing tensions in Hammerfell, it would be prudent to have him remain there for the time being. So be it. I shall get onto it at once. I shall arrange the necessary correspondence announcing the change of dynasty and forthcoming coronation to be sent to whom it may concern, so expect immediate interest and requests for parley, especially from the Elder Council in exile and the Aldmeri Dominion, who I suspect will want to discuss the restoration of the White Gold Concordant.
Yeah, right.
Lady Rigmor, take this opportunity to relax as best you can. Of course, return home to Bruma. But soon, whether you like it or not, you will need to adapt and come to terms with your new situation. Once the news has reached the far corners of Nern, and you address the foreign dignitaries and your subjects, you must respect their expectations and act accordingly, befitting a queen.
Hey, I'm not the Empress, and I put up with this kind of stuff from Malisab long enough, so drop it, Blackwell.
But you are still the queen. Rightfully so, as the Dragonborn is the rightful heir to the Imperial throne by right of combat. I realize this situation is not perfect, or even expected. I am sure it comes as a surprise to all of us, but here we are. It's not the first time in the history of monarchies that things have turned out exceptional. But we must all agree that the recent events that have brought us here are indeed exceptional.
I'm sorry. I'm just worried, I guess. I don't know.
Rigmor, I have been on the receiving end of your diplomatic parley. You have proven, beyond doubt, your ability to lead, to strategize, to stand up, shoulders back, head held high in the face of overwhelming odds. And with the Dragonborn by your side? If it's peace you want, if it's a home to go where you can raise a child in safety, you have a place alongside the Dragonborn to make this real, to make it a success, because no one is going to make that success for you. So please, do take the time to return to Bruma, appoint a lady-in-waiting, and send her here to the palace as to arrange the royal suite. I take it you have dealt with Sir Robert? If you will permit me, I have matters to attend to. I shall send word if something important comes up and your presence is required. My lady, Rigmor.
Dragonborn, we need to talk. You heard him. Everyone assumes I'm pregnant. Who's going to tell them there isn't going to be a baby? Not from me anytime soon. If you think I'm going to be shoving cushions up my front, you've got another thing coming. Well, let's hope we hear something soon.
I understand. I really do. We share a destiny. I know that. We have both suffered from amnesia. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been there for me. Been there for all of us. I know I'm not perfect, but you've always been there to carry me when I fall, to put me back together when I'm broken. I would do the same for you in a heartbeat. I'll always have your back, and I want you to know you are kind and stronger than you know. You're my Dragonborn, and I'll protect you always. Hey, I was trying to be nice, okay? Whatever. Can you take me home now? You know what I mean. Okay.
Yes? Yes.
Dragonborn lead. What are we going to tell my mom? Okay, leave Mom to me. It's best I tell her. Well, let's get this over with.
Need something?
Guardian General.
Rigmor!
Mom!
Ingol informed us of Leowin's defeat. There seems to be some confusion regarding the outcome of the, the war.
We went to parley at the Emperor's request. The Emperor, attacked Dragonborn.
By the gods, what happened?
I think it's plainly obvious. I take it things didn't end well for him.
Dragonborn is now the Empress of Cyrodiil and the Empire.
My word.
Your most imperial royal majesty.
There will be a coronation after the interim phase, so Blackwell can make the necessary arrangements for the coronation. Come on, let's all sit down.
Forgive me, your majesty, as this has come as a bit of a shock.
You got that right.
Indeed. But what about you, my lady?
I am the new High Queen of Cyrodiil. Seems there was something in that prophecy after all, Friathoff. Bruma is to become a royal city, so nothing would need change here, apart from my name.
Change your name, child? What do you mean?
Blackwell wants me to change my name to Rigmor Mead before the coronation.
Might I make one small suggestion? As you know, Carice and myself have always worked tirelessly to protect and serve the descendants of Morgan of Winterhold.
Your point?
Morgan, as you know, was the first child of Titus Mede I. You could respect her memory of that by assuming the name of Rigmor Morgan Mead. It has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Don't you think?
Thanks, Malsam. You know, I really like that.
But what I don't understand is, how is all of this going to work out? If Rigmor is the High Queen of Cyrodiil, then your Majesty must not only be the Empress, but also the High Queen.
What of the prophecy, my child? Are you...
Mom, we need to talk.
Rigmor? What is it? Is there something wrong?
In private.
What happened, your Majesty? And what about Morag? And my mistress? My word.
The Dragonborn and Boethia versus Molag Bal and his minions. Who would ever conceive of such an epic event? What then, Majesty? I take it you went straight after Leowen?
But you mentioned the Falmor. I know of him. Of course, I haven't been back to the Isles for many years, but the family is well known. Lelandril, I think. Yes, that's where his family hail from. Very well respected.
What about the Red Diamond? Did you pick it up? Jonte was telling us about... Oh.
Ah, yes. Apparently the destruction of the Bridge of Sighs would ultimately cause it to collapse in upon itself. Didn't Sefri tell you that would occur if the Soul Gem reached its zenith? If the Soul Gem were allowed to reach its zenith, destroying itself, it would indeed have caused a rift. But also, it would have left behind a black diamond. If it had, an amulet of kings made of it would have been able to reverse the sacrifice of Martin Septim, not only allowing Daedra to pass into the mortal world along with Cold Harbor, but also to banish the gods. Thankfully you destroyed it in time, but instead of leaving a black diamond, it would have left a red diamond in its place. An amulet of kings made with a red diamond? We're not entirely sure.
Only the Chosen One could wear it. Whether the diamond was black or red makes no difference. But we can assume it could be used to relight the dragon fires, and it could result in many outcomes. Banish both the Divines and Daedra for meddling in the affairs of mortals completely. Possibly it could equalize the influence of them, but at a reduced amount, strengthening the sacrifice of Martin Septim. It would, of course, be useless without the fulfillment of the prophecy, and we talked about that before, Majesty. By the gods! Majesty!
But that's impossible. You're a woman. How?
I knew it!
Of course.
There is
That would
nothing
put
gods
everything in
cannot do
order
with
and make
suspicious.
things right.
No one need know Lady Rigmor is pregnant. We keep this to ourselves. Majesty, does Lady Rigmor know what fate awaits her?
Dragonborn, I'm going to the cathedral to gather my thoughts for a little while. Maybe, I don't know, find some solace. When you're done here, would you come get me? Okay.
Poor girl. So, Master Freofoth, what fate awaits her? Please do share.
Majesty?
Well, no wonder the poor girl needs to find solace.
What? How? Of course. Forgive me. It must be a trying time for both of you.
Majesty, let us hope the gods keep their word, for all our sakes. And in the meantime, I'll send that ruffian, that scoundrel, that rapscallion Jimmy Tenfingers to search Nagacel for the diamond. It should still be there, unless... Unless, of course, someone else knew in advance what would occur. But for the present, perhaps it would be best to speak to Sigrun to alleviate any concerns about the future she might have. Majesty?